What is good? What is good? Let me send this out. Let's send this out. Give me 1 second. And we're going to get started. Let me see. Hello, hello, hello. Let's pull the charts up so that we can get into it. I'm about to just send this out just to make sure all of my platforms know, and we'll get started. My weekend has been great. It's been absolutely relaxing. That's to say the least. It's been relaxing for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna add some really good moves this week. Some really interesting moves. Um, Especially specifically with GU and EU. Those are two that I'm really looking at this week and gonna look to capitalize on. And I'll likely start the session off looking at those. But we'll take a look at the DXY, then we'll take a look at those. So, give me 1 second. I don't know where you guys are streaming from, but here in the US, it is the first football Sunday. And as you can see, I'm sporting my team, the Saints, up top. I have to. I actually have the game on here right next to me. So in the future, I likely won't be doing these on Sunday. We'll probably do these on Saturday because I got to watch my team play. All right. Let's get this thing started. So let's go ahead and start off with the weekly. So starting after last week, you can see just for the past couple of weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, price has just been bullish for the dollar. And more specifically, we just broke a key high in the markets here for the DXY. So this is overall bullish. We can see targets of these highs getting hit within this week. So this would be a key level that we would expect for target throughout this week long term. And this is likely when I find buy positions for EUR USD, I would look to, or not for EUR USD, but sell positions for EUR USD, GBP USD. I'll look to take sales for relatively the same move inverted. So on the daily, we had the previous daily close bearish. That's okay. Let's see. Let's remove drawings. We have the daily closing above these levels here. So the daily just broke for a new high. This is our key daily low way down here. Our first change of character on the daily time frame here. So this is a key level of resistance. Let's dial it down to the smaller time frame and refine this structure a little bit. Let's go down to the 1 hour. So price has been creating higher highs and higher lows within this bullish wave here. Now, if we look more closely, price is still, nope, this, let's see, did it break this low? It never broke this low here. So price has still been bullish. So what will we expect based on the smaller time frame? Well, the previous daily closed bearish. So we know we have resistance here. We could see a corrective structure for price to make a steeper push back into these levels here and continue pushing bullish in the direction of this overall wave. And then we know that we're expecting on the weekly time frame the week to be bullish. So in order for the week to be bullish, it does need to form a bottom wick, and I believe this is where we could see the bottom wick for the weekly form, and then we could see price now continue to push up in the direction of the overall trend. So where I would look specifically for price to come down and retest for the DXY, let's take a look here on a smaller time frame. Let's dial it down. So we're currently at resistance here on the 15-minute time frame, and if it came here, I would just wait for a change of character. So for this high to be broken first and then a corrective structure. But I also like these levels in here. If price breaks below this level here, now from there we could see a steeper move down on this smaller time frame. And if we do see something like that happen, then we would see price come to around this level, which where we which is where we would expect a larger time frame buy to execute. And so from here, a change of character and a continued bullish push back up. That's if price does come down steeper earlier on, starting off in this week. We will have to see, and I'll really be taking a look and interested around Asian session tonight, and then going into London session tomorrow to see how price action is forming for the DXY, specifically not necessarily the DXY, but more so with GBP USD and EUR USD, as those are the ones that I'm looking to trade. But this is how we set our overall bias for the dollar. So the one thing that I want to get, clear is that we're expecting the dollar to continue being bullish this week. So we're expecting the dollar to be bullish, and we're looking for dollar strength, which means we'll be looking to take buys in favor of the dollar. Or for GBP USD and EUR USD, we'll be looking to take sells. So these two, EUR USD and GBP USD, are the ones that I'm closest. I'm monitoring the closest this week. We can see that price here for GBP USD, we are in this bearish wave, which is actually a very, very pretty clean structure here of creating lower lows and lower highs. And so what we're looking to do is to continue riding this trend now to the downside here for price to continue pushing down. So what I would want to see is either a corrective structure up and then our candle confirmation on the smaller time frame for a continued steeper push down. When we talked about it last week, we could see price, my finger's hurting, come back down into these lows. Specifically, let's go to the larger time frame. Within this level here. And if we get breaks below this level, it's likely that when we either get to this level or break through this level, we will see a larger corrective structure form and then a potential continued push down. So that's what I would expect for GBP/USD long term. Now specifically, what is my setup? So if I'm looking at a next setup here, I would want for price to come and create a steeper retest, but I don't know that we'll get that, especially starting off early on in the week. I think it's more likely that we get a smaller corrective structure. So like for price to come into these levels or within this level here specifically. Let's dial it down a little bit more to refine it here. So to retest within these levels and then that steeper move back down. So if we get candle confirmation in this level, I'll take sales, but how my sales would be set up is my stops would go above this high right here. So something along the lines of, it depends. It might go above the candle. I generally go above the candle only if it's not tight. I thought it would be more pips, but a 20 pip spent, a 20 pip stop loss is relatively big. So I would look for my my candle confirmation within this level here, and let me set an alert. So, and then a continued push down. And my stop loss will go above the candle. Now, I will say last week, the last trade that I had sent out, I sent it to the free group and everything. I told everybody to close stops at, or to close at break even. And I was stopped out on Think Markets trading a 200K account for the Forex Funder. It was roughly about 4 pips. Was the slippage on that, and I ended up getting stopped. Mind you, I had an 8 pip stop loss. So, you know, halfway through drawdown, you know, I ended up getting stopped out before being able to modify that trade. So that's why I said specifically with this setup that I would have stops above here, but I thought that it would be a little bit smaller. As long as I'm in 4 pip spreads, and even I heard that it went up to 7, you know, 7 pips on EUR USD. That's just ridiculous regardless. And it's not conducive for traders. So I definitely talked to the team about that to get more information on what can be done. Or I talked to the Forex Finder, I guess you could say, about that, because yeah, we definitely don't want that. What if it goes above the level and you enter the wrong trade and goes higher, then sells down? You got to take that re-entry. So you take one trade, understanding that it could go to a higher level, and then you execute on that one. So how it generally goes, like let's say, for instance, we took sales at this level here and we got our candle confirmation. If price pushes up through and retest back into this level and we get a sell now, our sell confirmation from this level, then we can go ahead and take sales down, especially if we get our change of character on the smaller time frame. And so how it is you'll take a 1% loss on this trade, and then you'll take the second trade at, let's say, 1%. Let's just say you got entered in right here or something like that, and then you go to back to the lows is the first target, and the second area is the second target. So you lost 1% on this trade and then made 5% on that trade. So you made 4% in profit. So you just have to take that re-entry, and I'll allow myself up to 2 trades a day. And that's really how I go about it. If I take 2 losses in the day, then at that point, then my day is over. We come back tomorrow, you know, fresh, and we go about it like that. So that's what I would say to do. But as far as this is my next move here for EU or GBP USD, and a continued push back down. We'll target these lows here, and we'll target these key levels here. So So this one is hot on my radar. This is why these two are favorited, and I got them moved up here to the top, because these are the 2 that I'm looking for this week. Now let's take a look at EUR USD. EUR USD not as clear as GBP USD, and realistically on EUR USD, I would like to see a steeper move for price to come back up into these highs here, then for that sell move back down, and we'll target these lows. If price just goes down to break these lows here I'll wait for a steeper corrective structure, as GBP USD is the one that I would target first, because it does have that cleaner structure. I will wait as soon as EUR USD gets into these levels. This will be interesting for me, so I won't really take too much of a look at it until we reach these levels. In the meantime, we'll be looking at GBP USD. So EUR USD sell, and I'll keep an eye on the structure, of course. And if we do just never get this pullback and we get, you know, a steeper move down, a corrective structure, and price just continues to create lower lows and lower highs, from there, if market structure is clean, we'll look for a potential entry. But as of right now, the first one on my radar is GBP USD, and for EUR USD, I want to just wait until we get a retest into these levels. So for AUD USD, kind of the same. We got like a bearish flag pattern happening here. We have an impulsive move down. So impulsive move down. Now what we're seeing is a potential corrective structure. And now for another impulsive drop to break and clear these lows here, for price to continue pushing down. And this is in our overall DXY being bullish bias. Obviously, if the DXY turns bearish throughout the week, we'll reevaluate structure. But as of right now, this is what I can see. And I would want to see a break below this key 4-hour level right here for AUD USD for me to be interested in getting involved with AUD USD. I would prefer to see a push down, corrective structure, and then a continued bearish push. I want to know that price is getting and can break and close outside of this, you know, essentially this range that it's been failing to break out of within here. I want to know that we're out of this range for a retest, a bearish signal. That'll be my confirmation that price is going down. So for AUD USD, looking for a sell. How's you guys' weekend going? How was you guys' weekend in general, shall I say? Mine was good. I gotta buy some new things. I'm ready to get more creative with the content. So my weekend was pretty good. And are you ready to have a good week this week? I'm trying to turn up in the markets this week. Okay, so USD JPY. Oh, we just caught a pick. USD JPY appears to be bullish. We closed on the 4-hour time frame. We just closed, well, nearly closed above this level here. On the daily time frame, you can see that the daily closed absolutely bullish after retesting. You can see on the smaller time frame, we have on the larger time frame here, you could just see that price is creating higher highs and higher lows. And we're anticipating, obviously, the weekly to be bullish, as we're expecting the dollar to be relatively bullish, as we've seen this previous weekly close bullish. So what I want to see for USD JPY. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Did we break this high? I'm not quite sure we broke this high here. No, we didn't. So it didn't create a new high. Either I would want to see a steeper push down and then a change of character for price to go up now. So for price to come down, create a high, form a low, break that high. That would be my change of character, my change in trend direction, I guess you could say, for simpler terms. And then I would look for a continued bullish push to not only go to this level, but to break through this level here. And let's Let's see if we can see what resistance we have in the area. Might have to turn to the larger time frame. So resistance here, here, and we have resistance here. Okay, so let's go over. These would be levels that I would look for price to target, and this being one of the first levels after breaking through. Now this is relatively, let's see, 78 pips. So we have to have some volume in the markets, and I think before we get that push, it's likely that we get a corrective structure and then we get this move up. So if we get a corrective structure from where we're at currently, and then that change of character, we'll look to take buys for price to continue, and we'll target these levels here and these levels here. If price just breaks through, we'll look for then a corrective structure and a continued bullish push, because that will be price creating now a new high, indicating that price is still bullish. We got our corrective structure. We'll be able to take entries there for price to continue pushing. And specifically, this is a 4-hour time frame setup for me, so it would be a larger time frame trade more than likely. And I'll dial down to the smaller time frame to look for the change of character. But these would be the two areas that I would look for potential entries on buy positions. All right. NZD USD, same thing as carbon copy as AUD USD, looking for a corrective structure, price to push back up into these levels, key levels of supply, and then continue pushing down to target whatever the low is that is created. And more, if we can get a corrective structure to push back into this level here, I think that'll be a good potential area to take entries for price to now break out of this trend that we got going on here. Test back into a key level of supply and then continue to push bearish. This will be a targeted level at these lows, expecting price to push through these levels here. All right, so let's see, and more so something like this. All right, GBP JPY is already set up because we broke it down on Friday. What we were expecting. We're expecting steeper moves back down. Let's look at it on the larger time frame. Now, I will say that this weekly has closed. The previous weekly closed bullish. We retested into a key level here. We could potentially see this weekly form a wick fill to fill this wick to the upside and to target these highs here. But on a smaller time frame, I think we're in, well, we're in within this bearish wave here of price creating lower lows and lower highs, and I believe it's likely that we could see price potentially come down to make a steeper push down to fill this imbalance to the downside before making that initial move up. So that's what I'm looking for GBP JPY, and more specifically, let's see if I can go back far enough. Okay, so more specifically on the 4-hour time frame, for a change of character in this level to target now back to the lows, or for price to push even as far as up to these levels here, a change of character, and a continued bearish push down to continue in the direction of this current wave that we have going on. So that's what I'm expecting. All right, for gold, I can see a continued bearish push for gold. Let's look at it on a weekly time frame. Yeah, we're currently in a bearish wave on the weekly time frame for gold. Price is just creating lower lows and lower highs. We can indicate this here. Just broke for another new low. Came back to a key level of supply. We have price closed bearish for the weekly, so I'm anticipating this weekly to form a top wick and continue to make that steeper push back down. Not necessarily to take out these lows here, but to come into the key level of demand within this area on the smaller time frame. So if we take a look at the daily time frame, that's the daily key. I think that's the best one, honestly. So an overall target of down here. And what we would want to see, likewise with AUD USD and NZD USD, is that creation of a new low to ensure that this bearish wave is still in control, that corrective structure into our key level of supply, and then a continued bearish push down. Target these levels and potentially could come back to this low, but this will be my key target. So let's see. Right here. And what's important also about these structures is what time they happen. So if this structure is breaking or appearing to break at the start of London or pre-London, I would dial down to the smaller time frame, wait for the corrective structure on that time frame, and then take entries for price to continue pushing down. Because on the larger time frame, it might just look like one long break for price to push down, and you might not see the re-entry, or not the re-entry, but the entry if you don't dial down into the smaller time frame at those times of high volume, or either at times of very low volume. If price isn't moving too fast, but we do have volume in the markets, that's when I would take entries on, let's say, the 1 hour. But if the 1 hour appears to be extremely bearish, then I'll have to dial down to the 15-minute time frame to see the corrective structure, or potentially the 5-minute time frame for price to continue pushing down. Alright, USD CAD. I don't trade USD CAD. I don't know why this is here. Nas, I don't trade these or these either. So is there any charts before I go get off and enjoy the last little bit of this Sunday? Is there any charts that you guys want to take a look at? I'm willing to take a look at any of the charts or any questions you guys have. Again, the moves that I'm targeting this week will be GBP USD and EUR USD. Those would be the two that I look. And let's see, which one was cleaner? New Zealand USD or AUD USD? I don't know, maybe AUD USD. So potentially AUD USD too. Nas 100, yeah, we can take a look at Nas. Alright, let's take a look at the weekly time frame. So weekly just closed. This structure is extremely bullish. You could just see for the past entire year, Nas 100 has just been going up. More recently, we had a change of character form on a smaller time frame. So let's go to here. Price had pushed up, created a high, created a low, a lower high, a lower low. Once it created this low here, it broke larger time frame structures. If we go to the weekly time frame, it broke this low here on the weekly time frame. Back to the daily. Let's get rid of this. But we had that change of character happen here. Then we got a steeper corrective structure, and more recently, this previous daily closed bullish. So within this wave, it all depends on what wave you're trading. Within this wave, markets is relatively bullish, even though we had some downward pressure here. Oh no, this is definitely bearish. Yeah, so as far as what I would look at for Nas, well, actually, it already kind of retested, but potentially a steeper push back into these levels here, or even all the way up to these levels right here, for price to continue now pushing back down to fill this gap to the downside. And it's likely we get a corrective structure and continue push down, but I don't think it'll even be that big of a push up if we do get it. Something like this, a break of these lows. It's not the cleanest structure for me personally, just as far as how I capitalize. But this looks about right. As you can have a push down, we have this bullish wave. So we have this bullish wave here. We have an impulsive move down, corrective structure back up. If we retest back into these levels here, where we had that impulsive move down, that's essentially what I would expect, and then a continued bearish wave to break for this new low. So that's what I believe for Nas 100 going into this week. But specifically, I'll be updating the structures on GBP USD and EUR USD as the week goes on. We may or may not get this steep push up and price just breaks the low. I'll make sure I have an alert set here just in case. And that's pretty much it for me. Specifically, GBP USD is going to be the one that I'm going to trade the heaviest this week. And now if there's other opportunities elsewhere and GBP USD doesn't look like it has the cleanest structure, then I will trade something else. But as of right now, this is what I can see for me. So there's no other chart you guys want to take a look at. There's nothing else that you guys want to break down or ask. This will wrap up the stream for me. Why do they just like gold in general? I just not a fan of gold personally, and specifically during like news events. Gold grabs liquidity a lot, but above highs and lows, and whereas EUR USD or GBP USD would just go in one direction. It won't sweep the highs and the lows, and so specifically for that reason is why I don't like necessarily trading gold. They say it has more volume or whatever, but I guess, I mean, but I don't know. At what cost though? You know, GBP USD has equivalent volume and won't grab me liquidity wise. So that's really why, honestly. And it's trading is just a preference. I think people just have preferences as to what you like or what instruments you like to trade, and that's just kind of the case with me. I specifically like USD pairs, and top three being, you know, EU, GU, AU in that order. So that's that. But I appreciate you guys tapping in. Just a quick session. Just wanted to go through a quick rundown. I know I didn't really mention it all earlier in the week, but I just want to go through a quick rundown of what I'm looking for this week. And let's have a great week. Let's be disciplined. Let's abide by our strategy. Make sure we manage in risk and do everything to become an ace trader. Anticipate, wait for our confirmation, and execute. So we're already anticipated. Now we just have to wait for our confirmation and finally execute. So I appreciate you guys tapping in, and I will see you, some of you, on the stream this week.